Well, lovely day here. Hopefully we get more good weather and hopefully we get more good results for the Irish provinces this coming weekend. And I see no reason why not. That was an amazing performance by Munster, I must say. I'm a Connacht fan from Connacht, the province of Connacht. And I'm extremely pleased that Connacht won on the weekend as well. But that game, Munster against La Rochelle in La Rochelle, that was by far the game of the week. Phenomenal performance. And it shows that there's a bit more depth there than people thought for Ireland, because we need, if there's an over-reliance, which there has been for a number of years now on Leinster, that's not take nothing away from Leinster, it's not their fault. But I mean, we need the other provinces to stand up. Now, in fairness, Connacht, for the smallest club of the four provinces, has actually kind of punched above its weight. With Finlay Beale and Bundy Aki, Mac Hansen, and even Keane Prendergast. So, we Connacht have actually done well in regards, and probably Bolton will be another one I'd say will be feature prominently in the summer tour, I'd say. More options, better. Ulster, was it Ward, and there's Smith for on the wings as well for Munster there as well. So that's a number of players, wingers. So we were crying out for wingers only a month and a bit ago when Ireland lost to France. Everyone was getting an accidental crisis, but no, I think we're okay. I think we've got depth, but what we need to do now, well, we meaning Andy Farrell and co, is just give them exposure and not an over-reliance on the same old. We need to give more players opportunities, and so this is good exposure in the latter stages of the Champions Cup. So I think the Champions Cup is probably, especially the latter stages. I mean, would La Rochelle beat Wales? I'd say so. I'd say La Rochelle would beat Wales. I'd say they'd be a match to Italy at least. Their pack alone is probably world class, I'd say, or near world class. Like their pack is stronger than Scotland. Maybe Scotland have better backs, but if you look at the quality of player they have in the pack, like, you've got Skelton and Antonio and Aldrit, etc. That's better than Scotland's pack, I'd say. Wales and Italy's. So Munster did a job on them, In La Rochelle now, you can argue that they've lost, 9 games now in a row or whatever. But still, that's very impressive from Munster, and it's still a huge task. But people writing them off before, and I thought they might have a half chance of beating La Rochelle, if I'm being honest, because of the results that La Rochelle have had. But with the resurgence of Crowley getting back to form, showing what he's capable of, and probably just confidence, really. It's probably as simple as that. They say, in football and soccer, like, oftentimes when a striker, a quality striker might just have a bit of a drought, and then all of a sudden, if they just score a goal, then that can change everything. So it's just confidence, really. Confidence is very important. It's a psychological thing, but in life in general, ourselves, we're going through life, not to go all philosophical, but it does make a difference. When you're confident, you make better decisions, you're more certain, and so it's just the same in sport. Like, just when you're confident, you're just going to make better decisions and be more assertive, and raise the standard all around you as well. So, but Yeah, so, and Casey has been phenomenal as well. Actually, Casey, we could have done with him in the Six Nations. That's not to say that Murray was poor or anything like that. He wasn't, but just that bit of pace and a bit of zip. He's kind of like for like with Gibson Park, but I remember Andy Dunn talking about him maybe 2 years ago, saying that he thought he was a quality player, but that he might get, he was just one paced, just all out all the time, but sometimes you need to kind of take the foot off the pedal, off the gas, and kind of just play territory. And his box kicking has been excellent, really top notch, and I'd say he's a bolter for the Lions actually. Yeah, Gibson Park. If you look at the other nations like Mitchell, yeah, he's okay, he's alright, he's grand. Thomas Williams, well, look at Wales, how crap they were. Ben White, yeah, he's okay. He scored a try against Ireland. Pendergrass was awful for that try actually, but I'm a fan of Pendergrass, so just because I'm criticising him or criticising any player doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of them. Anyone watches my videos just to know that. But yeah, but I'd say I'd put Crowley ahead of all of them actually. I must say that zip he has and his box kicking game has come along really well. So yeah, in Ireland, like Andy Dunn was saying before, that there's a lack of depth at 9, you know, and well, there's some good 9s coming through now. Like, I mean, you see Devine, Ben Murphy at Connacht, Doak, Ulster, and there's a few 9s coming through at Leinster, younger lads as well. Then you got Casey and you know, so Patterson is it behind Casey as well at Munster. So there's, you know, what they need, as I said earlier, is exposure. They need exposure to either international rugby or exposure at the Champions Cup level, latter stage, knockout Champions Cup stage. That's what they need, and some of them are getting that now. And hopefully in the summer tour now as well, more will get, and maybe November series as well. They need more exposure. It's as simple as that. I mean, Gibson Park kind of came out of nowhere. When he was playing for Leinster, first couple of years, he was okay. Like, he was decent. But it wasn't until Farrell actually put him into the Irish setup and he got actual international exposure that he stepped up a year or two in his performances. And so, as I said, just international experience, or just that's exposure. That's what you need. That's where you get tested. That's where you kind of find out things about yourself as a player. That I'm talking as if I was a former international player. I'm not. But I mean, it just makes sense. Like, it's like, again, like anything in life, it just exposure to something. I mean, you can read and until you actually do the thing in practicality, in practical, or you know, in physical terms. Like, you know, you can read all about how to do woodwork or how to mix cement or whatever, anything practical, anything physical, but until you actually do it, that's when you find out how to do it. And until you play at international level or knockout stage, Champions Cup level, then you know, okay, what it needs, what's needed, work-ons that you might need to, like, you know, you might get away with at provincial level when you're playing, you know, against the lower teams. You know, you might get away with certain things that you wouldn't get away at knockout rugby or at test level. Anyway, I think I'm hopeful of Irish rugby future. There's a lot of doom and gloom after the Six Nations, but I think there was multifactorial. Like, I don't think, like, Andy Farrell being gone, that surely would have had an impact. The defence was a lot weaker than it was in recent years, and that's probably because you know, when you take your defensive coach and put him in as the head coach, well, you know, that's going to impact the defence. And it did. There were players out of position in that, you know, Joe McCarthy against France with that stupid tug to get the yellow card. Again, I'm a fan of Joe McCarthy, but that's something he needs to get rid of, you know. But why was he in there? Why was he there in the first place? Positionally, so the defence was not what it has been for the last couple of years, and that's explainable. That's explainable. And new blood coming in, or should be coming in, renewal, regeneration. Not a massive overhaul, but there's a sprinkling of players there that need to be given exposure. If you look at the age profile of Bundy Aki and Gibson Park and even James Lowe, he's playing class. I'm a huge fan of James Lowe, but you know, he's 33 now, and so we need a sprinkling of newer players coming in. I think some of those players will still get the World Cup and will be valuable at the World Cup, but we must learn from the last World Cup of not playing the same 23, pretty much the same exact 23 throughout the World Cup competition. And against Romania, like, that was stupid playing the whole, you know, they were fatigued. You could tell by the time they were at the quarter-final against New Zealand, they were fatigued. So anyway, need more players. There are players there, but they need to be given exposure. Anyway, I've rambled on too long. I'll leave it there. Okay, slán go fóill. Bye for now.